Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Running in Circles podcast. A happy new year to all my listeners. And for the first episode of 2021, we talk about an issue that so many young teenagers and adults go through. Joining me in this conversation is two of my friends, Piyush.
Hey Pallav, Happy New Year to you too. Glad to be back again.
Yeah, and Harsha.
Hi, Pallav. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me, and Happy New Year as well.
Yeah. So let's start off with the episode. Today we talk about social network dilemma. So the first point of discussion would be, when did you guys join social media? Was there any particular reason behind joining it? And what did it feel like using it in the initial few days, starting with you, Piyush?
Yeah, so my first social media platform that I was on was Facebook, and I didn't go on it for any particular reason, except for the fact that everyone else was on it. Pretty sure most of us probably did it because of that. Um, and I didn't make my first account. My friends made it for me, and they were just like, "Here, use it." So initially, I used to use it just for texting because after we come back from school, in case we want to talk to someone. So now instead of using our parents' mobiles, we go onto our computers and we can just go onto Facebook and start texting. So Facebook was very revolutionary for us back then because we didn't have any other mode of communication except for just calling using our parents' phones. And this was like, for me, it was in the sixth grade. So I wasn't also very mature. So it was just normal talks. Hi, what's up? Or something about what's the homework, basic stuff. And yeah, that's how I progressed with Facebook. Nowadays, I don't use Facebook much. That's a different story, though.
Yeah. So that was about Facebook. Were you on any? Are you on any particular sites?
Yeah, I do use or have used at one point of time, yeah, every social media app or every mainstream social media app. So there was a time when I never thought I would be on Instagram. I thought Instagram was stupid because you just share photos, nothing else. And what's the point of that? But then now I think Instagram is the one which I use the most because Facebook became a platform primarily for advertisements. I was barely able to see my own friends' posts. I was seeing like probably one friend's post to five advertisements, so I didn't really like it. And Facebook was important until um, I used to play a few games, which stopped. So there was this one particular game, which is Marvel Avengers Alliance, which really got me into the Marvel universe. But then they suddenly decided to stop on Facebook. I don't know why. So I also lost interest because after that, we had many other messaging apps dedicated, like WhatsApp. So we didn't need Facebook for that anymore. Then for sharing photos, we had Instagram. So we didn't need Facebook for that anymore. And I never really used Facebook's marketplace. I don't even know if it was there back then where you could sell and buy items. So Instagram is my primary mm, social media app right now. I was on Snapchat for a while, but then I never snapped anyone, so people stopped snapping me back. So I just uninstalled it. And I recently joined Twitter. I don't tweet anything, but I'm just there because many of the YouTubers that I know are on Twitter. They frequently post on Twitter. So I just like to be caught up in that way. Or else I don't really follow any friends on Twitter too. It's only media personalities.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a pretty good start. So what about you, Harsha? When did you join these sites?
So interestingly enough, I think it was seventh grade, and one day I decided to visit Piyush's house, and while we were there, some like it occurred to me that I'm not on any social media, so I was like, you know what, Piyush, let's make a Facebook account for me, and I think that's where I made my first account and my first social media account as such, and funny enough, my first Facebook profile picture is actually with Piyush that we took on his laptop or PC's camera, and it was so bad, but yeah, that's basically where I started off,
Yeah, I know that
and
picture.
Anyways, I think the need to join social media in seventh grade was because everybody was on it. It was not like I could think of like what were the advantages or disadvantages of being on social media. It was more about like, like everybody's on it and I have to be there, go with the flow and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that was about Facebook. What about other sites?
Yeah, I mean, like I think the next platform of social media that I used was Twitter. I think that was back in 10th or 11th grade. Twitter was, like a place where most trends would evolve. That's how I looked at Twitter back then, and I still do think that's the truth till now. So yeah, Twitter was a place where I would follow people and see what they would tweet, and like, believe it or not, I've seen quite a few of the stories that were posted on Twitter that went viral. So yeah, I used Twitter for a while, and then I think I got bored of it, so I uninstalled the app on my phone and stopped using it. After Twitter, I think the biggest platform of social media that I use till date is Instagram. Instagram's become like my top app that I use on my phone for time pass as such. I'm usually on Instagram scrolling through posts. Yeah, it's pretty entertaining, but sometimes I do feel like, wow, okay, maybe I spend too much time on my phone. I should probably be doing something else. So yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah. Yeah, so to tell about my story, I was not on any social media app till like 12th grade. I think I was too focused on which college I wanted. But then when I entered college, obviously you start to notice that so almost everyone is on social media, right? And especially like I never wished to join Facebook, but when I joined college, I realized that there are so many unofficial, I mean formal but unofficial notices that things like your placement schedule and your groups and the communities you want to join in your college. So there were so many groups that were on Facebook. So because of that, I there was joining Facebook was just, I just had to do it. It was inevitable. So I just had to join Facebook. And then Instagram also was the same story because just that everyone was there in college on Instagram. So again, I joined that. And and how did it feel like to use them in the initial days was pretty normal. Like Facebook, not a lot of people post stuff, but there are just it's so easy to reach someone out through Facebook because there are so many groups, right? Like my whole alumni network has a Facebook group, so it's so easy to reach out to someone through Facebook. So I guess that was the reason intent behind joining Facebook. And I also joined Snapchat in like in the end of first semester of my college. Again, it was because everyone was on it. And to be honest, Snapchat was tough to get a hang of in the initial days because it's a tough app to use in the initial, but then you just get used to it. And then initially it was a lot of fun because you get to maintain streaks. So then um, you can like have like 100, 200, or 300
Yeah, but then
days.
when you reach a particular point, like how much more do you share?
Yeah, so exactly. So that was um, that was actually the downfall from where I started leaving Snapchat, because initially it was fun to make streaks, but then you realize that okay, what is the point of maintaining a streak when you're just sending random photos to a person without putting any thought into it? And I remember so many people just send snaps of like the time on as a snap. So I felt like that was pointless. You're just doing it for the sake of maintaining streaks. So then,
Yeah, the pointless need to maintain the streak
yeah, so that
was
was
stupid.
a little annoying. So then I thought maybe we could do a little more with Snapchat by, taking aesthetic photos. So then I started taking good photos. I mean, Snapchat was my medium to take good photos and send them. But then again, you have this pressure of taking good pictures daily. So then again, that became pointless. So slowly and slowly, the interest in Snapchat, because you just have to like send snaps daily, right? If you are on Snapchat. So that was some that is why my interest in Snapchat died down, and eventually now I've just left Snapchat. Um, so yeah,
You can see the trend that most of us actually talked about Facebook because it was so revolutionary, and
yeah,
it is still relevant today because most of our parents
hmm,
primarily use Facebook, and Facebook does actually connect you to more people. It's easier to
yeah.
find people on Facebook, and the profile privacy wasn't such a big thing back then. So that's how my parents actually used to find their old friends and all who probably like 20 years back they have never talked to. So yeah,
I agree.
the
Like
Facebook was good.
I don't use Facebook a lot, but I still check it daily because some important notice, or let's say someone wants to connect with me, or I want to connect with someone on Facebook. So that is why, like Facebook is just too big to ignore, I feel. So I just think you have
That
to
is
be on.
true. The only reason I have Facebook on my phone right now is in case someone from my past wants to contact or tries to find me.
Yeah,
That's the only
The
reason.
reason why I have Facebook is so that I get birthday notifications.
yeah, that is another good thing. I agree. That's another good thing. But I mean, I just keep my birthday public birthday thing off. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
because what's the point if you're just I mean, if Facebook is giving you a notification to like wish someone a happy birthday, so I felt like I don't want to be one of them. So my public birthday is just off.
Yeah, you'd rather just have the people who actually remember
Exactly. I feel like it's a bit of a
text you.
drag. Yeah. That okay, Facebook is
Hmm.
notifying you that okay, wish this guy a happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were talking about Facebook, right? So yeah, um, I remember I've reached out to so many people for help through Facebook. So I mean, I just have to. That's why I don't use it daily, but I just have to be on Facebook. Anything else to add here, guys? Okay. So we'll move on to the next segment, which is what are the bad effects of social media, or like have you, like personally, or like in a society? Starting with you, Harsha.
Yeah, like everything in life, you social media has its darkest sides and the brightest sides as well. To talk about the brightest sides, I think the main reason why everybody uses social media is to connect with people. You can reach out to a lot of other people. Let's take an example of a budding artist. For an artist to get the publicity they deserve, right? They've got to work really hard if social media doesn't exist. They have to like convince people to showcase their art in certain platforms and stuff like that. But through social media, right, they can simply just create an account, right? Post their stuff on the account and spread the account to various users on the platform, and they can gain publicity through that. That's one of the best things about social media. Again, a contradictory point to this is that because we are so much on our phones and use social media so often, right? Most of us, or at least there are a certain number of people, I'd say, who have lost this thing where they forget how to communicate with people face to face. They're always like, like, let's say you're at a restaurant and you see a friend who's sitting like three tables away from you, right? Usually people would go like, hey, hi, how you doing? And there'd be a face-to-face communication. But because of social media, in certain cases, people just text you like, hey, I'm just three tables away. Somewhere I feel like we've lost that connection, that the the way we interact with people, and somewhere this takes away our social skills as well. And I choose to believe that social skills are one of the most essential skills that anybody need to have, to survive, whether
Yeah.
it's in college or whether it's at work or anywhere as such. So yeah, I mean, the other thing is obviously abuse. The other downside to social media is obviously abuse.
Yeah.
There have been multiple reports where people have been abused
Have you
for
have you ever
doing.
faced abuse or trolling of any kind?
Mm, Not that I can remember of. Like usually, sometimes I have faced backslash because of body shaming as such. I have been like, I wouldn't call it harassment as such, but yeah, it did feel bad. But after a point, you gotta realize that hey, haters are gonna hate. You gotta move on with your life. So yeah, some cases that might go to the extreme. Some people are sensitive, they might take it very personally and hurt themselves and such things. So yeah, it's really abusive in a way, but it goes on how you perceive things.
Hmm. Yeah. So what do you think about this, Piyush?
Yeah, so what Harsha said was right. There have been many incidents, like, let's take the cons of social media first. There have been many incidents where a lot of people have been cyberbullied, they have been trolled. I have been trolled a lot.
If you could tell
Uh,
us a few stories on that,
I mean, I wouldn't say
if you
my
want to share.
case is like, let me say. So I wouldn't say my case is like anything major. It's just minor fun trolling, which I guess I don't mind. Might affect some people. But so yeah, it's like you post something. People have different opinions, right?
Hmm.
Very broad spectrum is there. So, mm, like few people will say yes, this is nice, but few people will start judging you. So you feel a little bad, but then you gotta have confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
Uh, I guess this primarily happens like towards girls because I guess girls post the most photos
Yeah, and yeah,
on
there
social
is a
media.
bias, like social media is biased towards girls, I feel.
Yeah, no matter how much we talk about equality or anything in this day, there is still some bias. Like if a guy posts a photo, not many people will care about it. If a girl posts a photo, there will be a broad range of opinions which she can take to heart.
Yeah.
There are a few people who do not care much, but then just a small comment could really set off someone. So those are few bad things. Cyberbullying is like we had many classes in DPS regarding cyberbullying. So I don't know. It didn't really help me much because I already knew it thanks to some of my good friends.
Okay.
Yeah. Now let's come to the good parts about social media. So primarily what Harsha said is connecting people, right?
Hmm.
That is that is an amazing thing because if if you want to talk to someone at this age who's across the world, wouldn't you rather use your internet and a
Yeah.
social media platform or any messaging app
Then like
to
call.
get in contact with them than call?
Yeah.
Because that costs a lot of money. And internet is, I mean, I guess internet is very cheap right now, I would say, compared to
Yeah.
what it was back then.
Yeah. It's
I
very
remember
cheap in
when there were
India.
3G plans for a few MBs.
Hmm.
Now we are getting 4G for GBs altogether. We get 2 GB per day.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And
Thanks to Ambani.
thank you, Geo.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is there. Then I actually had a big confusion which apps were under social media and which apps were under messaging. I didn't know that they were different. I used to think like WhatsApp, Hike, and all were social media apps too,
Yeah.
because
It can be. I mean,
to
social media is anything which you use to socialize. So even WhatsApp,
yeah, but
even
I actually searched it up, and social media is different from messaging apps. So WhatsApp is not actually social media; it is a messaging
yeah. So
app
that's a new
because
branch
you can't
which came up.
post anything. Social media is primarily for broadcasting.
Yeah.
WhatsApp broadcast is just messages, right? So that's
Yeah.
not a problem. So yeah,
Yeah.
I remember the day when we used to have hike. You all remember, right? We
Yeah.
used to have a
Obviously.
great group called Chill Corner.
Yeah. Chill corner.
A
Correct.
lot of things have happened on Chill Corner.
Yeah. You could nudge
And
someone. I used to like that nudge feature.
exactly, we used to have like nudge wars and sticker wars.
Yeah.
Then people used to get irritated, leave the group, join the group again.
Mm.
A lot of things happened. It was very fun. And you could change themes. It was great, very intuitive. But then
Yeah.
again, like how Facebook was the first thing everyone gets, WhatsApp was like that. So no matter how much we try to stay on hike, most of the people we know were on WhatsApp. So
Hmm.
eventually we had to transition to WhatsApp.
Correct.
Yeah. So
All right. So I'll talk about my take on the bad effects of social media. So I just think social media is like a digital version of your life, or at least that's how it is perceived to be. So whenever there's a digital version of yourself, so you feel like you can portray however the way you want it, right? So many of so many of my I wouldn't so many of my friends have appear to be very pretentious, like even though in their real life, they're just like ordinary people like us. But then there's this pressure of like up making yourself look cool on social media. So that is
yeah, the pressure of gaining friends,
yeah,
followers, having a big number.
yeah. So things like who has maximum followers and all, I think it's pretty sad to hear all that, because I know so many people who are great in real life, but if you see their social media, their followers don't reflect the same, and that's totally fine, because you'd rather be a good person in real than like a fake person online, correct?
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. So I think it's absolutely baseless to link your self-worth to the number of followers and things like that, because it's clearly not a relation. um, and then things like which you guys said, like cyberbullying, trolling, I think that's pretty common. And then one thing that I'd like to talk about here is trolling. Like if you see Twitter is, according to me, the worst social media platform, because um, Twitter is so much opinionated. Like if you see, like let's say you're supporting a team, right?
Yeah.
What you in a Twitter world, what you do is you say a good thing about your team, and then there'll be 10 people who'd say, hey, you know what, you're absolutely nonsense. And like let's say Virat Kohli. Yeah, so Virat Kohli gets so much of abuse online, and so much of that deals with RCB, right? Like RCB, even though they are one of the most loved teams in IPL, they're one of the most hated teams too, because of not getting a title and Virat Kohli leading them. So I mean, Twitter is like very opinionated. Like even when you just want to say like RCB is a great team, there'll be like hundreds of followers who would disagree, and everyone suddenly becomes keyboard warriors. I think yeah, keyboard warriors is a thing that social media developed. Like in the real world, people won't say anything, but because it's it's a virtual world, and
Yeah, you
voicing your
can be anonymous.
yeah, voicing your opinion as an anonymous Twitter handle is so easy, and you feel like because you're so close to each other in the virtual world, you can just say anything and get away with it. So keyboard warriors is such a bad thing that came out of social media. And then again, um political wise also, Twitter is very um polarized. Like tra- to take the classic example of Modi and not Modi, that's very evident online. And like you get divided into things like um, BJP and like right and left and things like that. But again, there are so many good things also about social media. It's a great way to advertise things, and you know, for celebrities or like for people who have a lot of followers, they get so much revenue from them. Um, so yeah, that's it. Do you guys have anything else to contribute here?
Just because you brought up RCB, Isala Cup number, don't forget that. Yeah.
Go RCB.
Yeah. So do you
We're
guys
all
have any?
RCB supporters here, right?
Yeah, yeah,
RCB for life.
yeah. The podcast is dedicated for RCB. But yeah, do you guys have anything else to contribute here on advertising and other things?
Yeah, actually, like it's very interesting that you brought up the topic advertising, because I believe over the past few years, right, social media marketing, or popularly known as digital marketing, has blown up all throughout the world. Anywhere you see, starting from Facebook to Instagram to any social media you can think about, right? Every platform offers digital marketing services. So yeah, like over the past few years, a lot of agencies have come up which offer services where they start advertising you or your company through social media. Most people, like people who are waiting for their chance to uh, go popular or go viral, right? They usually approach these agencies and take their services, and some people have ended up going viral and famous. So yeah, digital marketing is humongous. It's sort of a field where the possibilities are endless, and it's going to continue to grow because most human beings on this planet have come to a conclusion, at least subconsciously, that yeah, social media is the way to connect with other people. You can be seeing that with a lot of young people, a lot of young teens, right? They don't care about anything else. All they look at is how good your social media account looks, and are you popular or not. So yeah, there is humongous scope for digital marketing as such.
Yeah. I'd like to add before we move on to the next part about the bad effects of social media. One thing which social media gave a lot of acceleration to is fake stuff. To take the most recent example, I could talk about the accusations of the five Indian cricketers breaking the biosecure protocols when they're touring Australia right now. So I remember one guy on randomly on Twitter just simply said that Rishabh Pant hugged him, and now that led to such a chain reaction of things. First is all the five Indian cricketers was isolated, and now they don't know if they can take part in the next test match. But again, what I mean to talk about here is how, because of a simple user randomly commenting that Rishabh Pant hugged him, has led to such a massive amount of chain reaction. So that is again fake news. I mean, people are still finding out whether those accusations are true or not. But again, like, it's so easy because you're one comment away from breaking a story there on social media. So it has given a lot of rise to fake people, fake news, and other things like that. So anything else that you'd like to add here, or we'll move on to the next one?
Yeah, I would just tell a little about fake news. So, in recent times, right, we're affected by the coronavirus, and you'd have definitely heard many people get a lot of WhatsApp forwards or some Facebook posts, which can be very misleading, which, uh, like, many people cannot differentiate. That's the major problem. There's a lot of fake news and misleading posts online that people cannot differentiate, and then they just think that it's true because it's on a social platform. It's so widespread because I can just send literally write anything on WhatsApp and make it look like a professional said it, and people can just keep forwarding and it'll get spread. Like, I'm pretty sure you guys remember all that. Send this message to 10 people within this much time, then only you'll have WhatsApp free for life, or else you'll have to start paying for WhatsApp.
Yeah,
Did
correct.
that ever happen? No.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, now in COVID times, many misleading people have been like, yeah, this cures COVID, this cures COVID. Many people are just putting up opinionated posts about vaccination. The people who do
yeah,
not want to vaccinate,
yeah.
they're like, vaccination will
Anti-vaxxers
be
and like other
exactly.
people.
And
Yeah,
then people think that COVID is a conspiracy theory that
yeah,
someone started, or it's fake, it's a lie.
yeah.
But does it
Correct,
really matter why it started? It only matters that we overcome it now.
correct. Absolutely.
So yeah, people should take to social media to help spread positivity in these times, rather
Yeah,
than why this happened,
yeah,
and
it's
spread
tough
fake
to
news
find
about
a
it.
credible source
That
Also,
is true. That's why social media shouldn't be your primary or secondary source
correct.
of information about all these type of things. You got to go to the proper websites like the WHO website or whatever is legitimate,
Yeah, correct.
because they can be held accountable if something bad
Mm-hmm.
happens.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I put up something about COVID and someone follows it, and I don't think I would get recognized as accountable for this person's death or this
Yeah,
person's
accountability
harm.
isn't there on social media. You can just put out anything without the fear of anything.
Exactly, because it's just your opinion. You're not saying that, yeah, these are the facts. This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll move on to the last segment, which is the importance of, or do you guys take social media breaks? Do you think it's important? And how often do you take social media breaks? Starting with you, Harsha.
Yeah, like, excessive use of social media sometimes, makes sense, put you in sort of a state of depression, because sometimes you feel very insecure being on social media, because everyone on social media are trying to be perfect, in a sense, like there are a lot of people who look at this and they go like, oh, I have to be like that. I have to be so perfect in life. But that's actually so wrong, uh, it happens sometimes that you might be scrolling through some posts and you see like every day, your certain set of people, let's say, are out on a beach and having fun and all that, and then you go sitting at home that, wow, okay, I've got to do that someday too. But in reality, that's they would have planned it out, and they would have done that for some advertising purpose or something like that, because everybody wants to look good on social media, right? Because we feel like looking good on social media is much more important than looking good in person. Nobody cares. So yeah, a lot of insecurity issues come up through social media. So I personally feel like it's very important to take social media breaks from time to time. I'd not necessarily say it's going to be periodic, like, use social media for a month then take a week's break or something like that. It could be any time where you feel like you are done with social media, your mind is exhausted, right? That's when you're supposed to take a break. Could be for however long you want it to be, but I do feel like it's necessary. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about it, Piyush?
Yeah, I mean, for the people who are addicted, because people do get addicted, social media is the newest form of addiction. So, yeah, for the people who do get addicted, they definitely need the social media detox. They will have withdrawal symptoms, but they've got to go through it. It's not as major as, uh, let's say, some drugs. But yes, this also highly affects the mental state of many people, primarily teenagers and young adults, because old people, they don't really care. They've lived their life. And one thing is, we should not introduce, like, I joined social media in sixth grade, but I wish I wouldn't have. It's like we should provide a phone or access to social media later, significantly later on in life for a small child, because I'd rather go out and play with my friends or do some physical activity than stay on my computer or like play on my mobile till like ninth or 10th grade. Because then, okay, there is a certain level of maturity where we can understand how much we need to use. We can slowly develop, become older, and think, yes, I have to allocate this much time for this much time for this. We get our priorities right, and then from there we start planning our future also. So if we mess up that point, we will be held responsible primarily, because before that our parents have to help us. That is the biological need. So yeah, I mean, I personally am not like addicted to any social media. Like if I just open up my Instagram screen time, it probably ranges like 15 minutes to 30 minutes a day. uh, WhatsApp does have high screen time, but again, that's not social media, it's just for talking to people. Um, so yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah. So to talk about what I think of it, I feel like breaks need to be taken every time you feel that you're getting addicted to anything, because once you get on that path to addiction, it's so easily you can so easily get um, just consumed in the world of social media. So I have a very simple rule, which is every time my Instagram screen time goes beyond like 25 to 30 minutes, I just reevaluate that. Okay, I think I need to reduce my screen time, and if that screen time is not reducing, I just quit social media for like a week or month. I remember talking about this to you, Piyush.
Yeah.
Um, so and also, when you're using social media, it's important that you're just using social media, and it shouldn't be the other way around where the social media uses you. Because I remember on the initial days when I joined Instagram and Snapchat, there was a little bit of pressure to put up a good caption. I don't know if you guys would agree with me on this.
Yeah, there was a big necessity to put up a good caption
Yeah,
because
because
you'd go out of your way to find some great quote, or you'll make
yeah,
up a quote, or you'll write a big paragraph.
yeah, yeah. So um, initially there was this pressure to be very creative on the caption part, but nowadays I feel like that pressure. I don't feel that pressure anymore, because I just post whichever photo I like, and the caption
Yeah,
also,
that is
which
true. If I don't think of a caption, you just put up the photo. That's it.
yeah, I just
That
put up a
serves the purpose.
yeah, I just put up a photo and then think of a caption which is relevant to the moment or occasion, and which my friends can easily understand. And yeah, that's very simple. It's a very simple rule to follow. Yeah, so taking break at the ideal time when you know you're slipping into addiction is what I would say. So anything else to add here, guys?
Yeah, in the end, I'd like to add one, I think, very important point. We, being the Gen Z or the younger generation in general, we've got to normalize not having a social media account or a social media life. We got to normalize that, because social media is always an option. It's a personal choice that people take, and it's very important to respect people's opinions about social media. And no one should be on social media because of peer pressure, or because you want to be part of the trend. That shouldn't be the case. It should be a choice, and it will always remain a choice. So yeah, thank you so much for having me, Pallav.
Yeah, that was a good episode. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.